Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard have a blackout fight. Okay, so Kristen Bell was on Justin Long's podcast because everybody has a podcast. But anyway, anywhoosies, Kristen Bell told a story about her and her husband, Dax Shepard, how they got into this huge fight and they didn't talk for like 3 fucking days. Let's hear the clip.
I left a note and I was like, hey, Dad, would you mind taking the 2, I'm holding up 2 because that's how many there were, towels in the dryer and folding them, and then like one other thing, right? And I thought, that's 10 minutes of work. And then I came home on Sunday, everything was fine. Monday night, we're laying in bed, and he turns over and he goes, when you leave me notes, yeah, I feel really controlled, and he launched into how he felt about it. And somehow, then we both blacked out and got into a fight, and it was an angry, angry fight, right? Wow. About how nobody does anything for anybody else. I grabbed my pillow and I stomped down the hall and I sleep in the front room and I'm crying, right? Ugh. And we don't talk for 3 days.
A cancer. The way that I relate to this so hard beyond scientific fact, where the stars were when she was born. But listen, the way that I am a snowball queen, okay? Meaning I can take a comment, flip it and reverse it, as your flipping it was wearing yet, okay? And layer it into a Dante's Inferno of commentary like, who raised you? Or, wow, you need therapy, my dude, wow. Or my favorite, is this who you really are? Is this really it? Because I don't like this person. Where is my boyfriend? You know, I remember an ex of mine, we broke up. If you're listening to this, I just want to say, fuck you. But listen, so we were in his car, and I was blasting Fergie because I have taste. Right? And we were mid-song, and I was singing out loud, okay? And he fucking turned it off, impromptu. So I was left hanging. First of all, you shady little bitch. Second of all, you're gonna turn it off on Fergie? What, the Duchess? Like, if I have to listen to your Joe Budden mixtapes, I'm allowed to listen to Stacey Ferguson when I please, okay? Also, Dax, sweetie, that is nothing. I grew up in a house where my mother would take an index card and some tape, write her passive-aggressive note on it, and sign it from management. That is nothing. And you wonder why I am the feral, petty animal that I am. But listen, I hate thinking about Kristen and Dax fighting, and I also hate thinking about Kristen like crying in her living room. If you ever need somebody to vent to, Kristen, you text me and we will drag him for hours together. I have many a gift to compliment every single insult. You know what I mean? And I love Kristen and Dax as a couple. I feel like they're such like a real couple. You know what I mean? Like, they're so open about their struggle with their relationship. And I always think to myself, like, when Jason and I are fighting or if we're going through something, I wish that we had people talk about their fights more and how they've resolved those fights, because everyone says like fighting is normal, but fighting can also feel so isolating when you're in it. And like, especially because like you don't want to tell your mom because she's a Colombian Scorpio, and you don't want to tell your friends because you don't want people to think of him differently or see you guys differently, you know? And I think it's also like fighting with somebody is like this big taboo thing, especially with like the age of social media where everybody is so perfect and we're going to Tulum, you know what I mean? And I love that they talk about how they've gone to therapy and that they've evolved together, and sometimes they're on a different page, but they always come back to one another. Like, I like that because that's human and that's super relatable. Like, I can't imagine J-Lo and Alex Rodriguez fighting, right? But I'm sure they fucking do. I'm sure that they do. So I love that shit. I love that they talk about their fights. And I love that they're talking about learning how to fight together. That's what I think is really important too. A lot of people talk about their love languages, but a lot of people don't talk about their fight languages. and they're both equally as important, right? And it's especially important to share those things with like younger kids, like I said, with the age of social media and technology and all these things that are taboo, because like when you're a fucking kid, no one explains to you like how to resolve things. They're like, mommy and daddy don't get along anymore, so guess what? You're gonna have 2 Christmases now. You know, or like I'll hear my friends talk about a fight that they had with their significant other or this guy that they're fucking, you know, like, and they're like embarrassed about it. And I have like 2 options. One, I could say some like surface level shit, which I fucking hate. And we all have a friend like this. When you text them and you're like in a bad place and they're like, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I really hope things get better. Oh, you do? Thank you so much. I could have fucking chatted Smart Robot on AIM for a nicer response. You know? So then, but I also like I always choose to level with them. And I'd be like, listen, my boyfriend and I once got into the most massive fight where I was like, have fun sleeping on the fucking couch because him and I used to leave for work at the same time, okay? And I remember telling him, hey, do you think that we should take separate trains? Because I think sometimes, like, that's imposing on our, like, me time. And you know what he said? He said, I agree. Fuck you! Don't fucking agree, bitch, you cruel monster. You probably steal 101 Dalmatians to skin them and wear them as a coat, you little asshole. All right, less fighting, more fuck-cucking. Okay. Oh, you like that? That's my show. Weekdays, live, 12:30 p.m.